Hello there everyone and welcome back to another video here on the Theme Park Jack YouTube channel. Before we get into today's video, I do just want to say a massive thank you for helping us reach 250 subscribers. I never thought we'd come this far, and just thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed. It really does mean a lot. And if you haven't done already, please leave a like on today's video and subscribe to the channel. And of course you can follow me at Theme Park Jack on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. And you can join in with my daily coaster quiz. But yes, today we're going to be talking about what roller coasters I could see coming to different UK theme parks next. And yeah, it's going to be mixed with a bit of reality, so what could actually happen, along with what I'd like to see too. So we're going to come up with some realistic coaster ideas here, but that I also think would be a great fit for these parks and would really go down well and would be a good ride. So let's get into the video then. So we're going to start first with Southport Pleasureland. Now this is definitely an up and coming park. I think there's going to be quite a few roller coasters going to this park over the next say 10 years. And I think a ride that definitely needs to go there is a wooden roller coaster. I mean, they could relate back to the old Cyclone that used to be there. Maybe they could call it Cyclone 2 or the new Cyclone or something like that. And I think they need to build a GCI roller coaster, a wooden coaster, and I think they need to build it as big as possible, because I think it needs to become kind of an icon from the park, and I think it needs to attract people over there. And there's nothing more that will do it with than a big wooden roller coaster that can be you know, has views of the sea right next to it, and I think it will go down really well there. I think it will go down even better if they do relate to the old Cyclone. I think so many people would travel to see it. And I mean, it is a park that isn't that hard to get to. I mean, if you're going up to Blackpool, it's not that hard to get to Southport. So they've got the audience there that are just driving past Southport Pleasureland. So they just need to kind of attract them into the place, and this will do exactly that. So I think a big wooden roller coaster is what's needed. Will it be big? Will it be as big as Troy, which is what you're watching now? Probably not. However, if I could pick, would it be as big as Troy? Absolutely, because that's my second favourite roller coaster in the world. It's absolutely fantastic. And if Southport Pleasureland got something like this, that, remember, wouldn't actually even cost that much, because wooden coasters are a lot cheaper than normal roller coasters, then yeah, it would just be amazing for the park to see something like that. Now, Alton Towers is quite a tricky one to predict, but I think they're going to be getting rid of Galactica, or Air, whatever you want to call it. I think that's going to be the first secret weapon to go. I don't think that's going to last, and I think the reason why is because at the end of the day, it's no longer got the VR now. It's quite an outdated ride, and it isn't all that popular. I think that what they're going to do is add in a brand new launch coaster. However, I don't think it's going to be replacing Rita directly, because at the end of the day, this is how the public will see it. If you rip out a launch coaster to build another launch coaster, they're going to be saying, oh yeah, it's just like Rita. That's the way people think. They won't think, oh yeah, it's so much better than Rita, I'm glad they replaced it. They'll just think, that's like Rita, because it's got a launch on it. So, if they put it in another area of the park and make it very, very different from Rita, which in other words is just don't make it a boring, awful ride full of turns, then it could become very popular. I mean, at the end of the day, Rita is quite a poor ride, to be honest, and I think that it definitely needs to go at some point. It's not a very well-loved ride. So I think if they replace it with another launch coaster where Air currently is, then people won't see it as so much as being exactly the same as Rita, and they can do something world's first with it, or UK's first, maybe in the amount of launches, or they could do something as far as the theme with it, or something like that. And I think that that will go down really well, and I think it will be a much better launch coaster, which is what Alton Towers needs, to be honest. You know, they could do far better than Rita, they really could. And yeah, something like an Intamin launch coaster, one of the new versions, with the lap bars on, just like Taron, would be perfect. I mean, just remember that Taron, I mean, in my mind, it is the best roller coaster in the world, but it is very, very popular with most people who go on it. And if Alton Towers had something like that, it'll just be like adding Nemesis all over again. You know, people will fall in love with that ride, and they'll all rush down there to give it a go. Now, I think Chessington is going to be adding a brand new water coaster on that massive empty field that they've got there. At the minute, it's just used as a place where people can have picnics and stuff. and I think they're going to be getting a water coaster. Chessington had done some kind of survey about getting a water coaster a few years ago, and they'd actually used pictures from the Flying Dutchman at Efteling, kind of to show people what it'd be like, and I think they should build one exactly like this. I'd go with Comeback, to be honest, because they've made an absolute success of the Flying Dutchman, and they are a different manufacturer as well, so people would want to go and see what their rides are like, because not everyone's been on the Flying Dutchman at Efteling. But if you haven't been on it, guys, before, let me just tell you, it is an absolutely fantastic ride. The theming inside there is brilliant, and the station area and everything else is great as well. Go and watch my Efteling vlog from last year if you want to see all about it. I give you a review and a complete on-ride POV and everything, but yeah, absolutely fantastic, and if Chessington gets something like that, it would be brilliant. Now, should Drayton Manor get a roller coaster where G-Force used to be, which has just been removed, that big red roller coaster there, they need something cheap but that's going to attract the families to come and visit the park. And I think the perfect ride will be a Zamperla motor coaster. This is like Zamperla's slightly cheaper version of the Vekoma Booster Bike coaster. It kind of has the same restraints as the Discos have, and I think it will be a brilliant new ride for that park. It wouldn't cost them too much, yet at the same time no one would know that, and if they do some good marketing for it, it would attract loads of families to come and ride it. I mean, just think of that, you know, a good brand new family thrill roller coaster at Drayton Manor. I think it'd go down really well, and visitor numbers would definitely rise if they invested in a ride like this. Along with an area retheme, I think they need to put a brand new wooden coaster at Paultons Park on that field at the side next to Cobra. I think it'd be a great fit, and I think they need to go with a mid-scale GCI coaster. You know, something that's kind of in the middle of the road, not too big, not too small, and yeah, it's a reasonable size of roller coaster to go with that people can enjoy, but at the same time it's not too big that people can't go on it. I mean, if you take something like this, you know, Joris and the Draak over at Efteling. Now, I think the height restriction on that's 1.2 metres, but I'm not sure if it is with this one or with other ones. If you sit in the middle rows, that you can only be like 1.1 metres if you want to be or something. So in other words, you know, people that are quite small, children, can go on it, and I think that that's perfect if that can be done. I think it's definitely the case with Woden at Europa Park. I'm just not sure if it is on this. I think it might be, but I'm not for certain on that, because I haven't got any worries, ever being 1.9 metres tall. But anyway, yeah, so it's something like this would be perfect, because people that are smaller can ride it, but at the same time it is kind of a step up and kind of a thrill ride for the park. Now, Paultons Park will be getting their first extreme thrill ride, so to speak, with the Cyclonator, a brand new like pendulum ride that they're getting in Tornado Springs this year, and I think that this could add to it really nicely, but it not being too big to scare people off either. I think a wooden coaster is the perfect thing to do. They could make it nice and big, it wouldn't cost too much either, and yeah, fill it full of airtime, lots of bank turns, and you're certain for it to be a hit with the public. We're in the arse end of nowhere in South Wales is Oakwood Theme Park. It is in a very nice location though, to be honest. Really nice in the countryside. Just, yeah, a pain to get to, certainly. But yeah, Oakwood Theme Park, I think their next roller coaster needs to be a thrill roller coaster, but nothing too much, as they have already got Megaphobia in Speed. Something that families can still go on, however it is a reasonably big roller coaster for them to take on. And I think something like a big max spinning coaster will do the job perfectly. They could theme it in really nice and put it on that field there, as I just showed you, not far from Treetops, kind of near where they got the pirate ship. They could even give it a pirate theme if they wanted to. I mean, let's be honest, that wouldn't be hard to do at all with a spinning coaster. And yeah, I think it would go down really well. They could, if they wanted to save some money, they could just do a clone spinning coaster, maybe a clone of this one, Dwervel Wind from Toverland. No one would complain at that, since there's only like one clone of it. Well, there's another couple in Europe, but there's only one of it in the UK. There would be if that was built. So most people would never have been on it before who were going to that park. So therefore you can't really complain, to be honest, you know. If the ride was everywhere then you could, but it's certainly not. And I think a ride like that would go down really well. If they wanted to do even better and they had the money for it, which I doubt they would, but you know, if they did, then a Mack Extreme spinning coaster could be even better. Then they could maybe add a launch to it and it could even go upside down if they wanted it to. Well, Great Yarmouth Pleasure Beach is certainly going to be expanding over the next few years with the addition of that brand new Edge leisure development. However, I think something near where the big wheel is should be the space for a brand new roller coaster. It's just a massive kind of barren empty space around there. So I think take the big wheel out, or they could move it somewhere else and build a brand new Gerstlauer Eurofighter, just like Tantrum over at Darien Lake. Or they have got one on some pier in Texas in America as well, and it actually goes out over the water. It looks brilliant. But yeah, with this they could theme it up really nicely. And let's be honest, Gerstlauer Eurofighters don't cost that much. And nowadays, now they've been improved, they are nice and smooth and have a lap bar as well. So I think something like that would be perfect. You know, that roller coaster you've just seen, Tantrum there aren't actually any of those with that layout in the UK. So it would be something new for us. But at the same time, it wouldn't be too big or too long, meaning it costs too much for the park to build. If you haven't already seen it, check out my Future of Blackpool Pleasure Beach video, where I talk about how a Mack Big Dipper coaster could be built on this car park behind the Bowlerdrome. I think that would be a perfect addition to the park, and I think a ride such as Dynamite at Brightsea Park Plon, I probably didn't say that right, I'm sorry, but yeah, I think something like that would be brilliant. I think, you know, and that drop how they've got on B&M wing coasters as well, where it kind of goes upside down as it dives down to the drop, something like that would be brilliant. You know, chucking a few inversions on there, lots of airtime on it. I think a Mack Big Dipper would go down really well at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, and you know, it would be another really good coaster along Icon that they've added over the past few years. I think Mack is a safe bet over who's going to be building this new ride. Since the Thompson family are such good friends with the Mack family, I do think that this ride will be built by them. And Nick Thompson did say, he's the Deputy Managing Director of the park a while ago, that he's already got another few projects in the pipeline, and I think this is definitely one of them. I think it's the obvious choice for the park, and I think it would be a great fit. All I hope that they do though is market it a bit better than they did with Icon, so then more people know about it and more people get out to the park, because from what I've heard, Icon wasn't the biggest success because, I mean, basically they never put the adverts out there and no one ever saw it. Whereas this, they need to, you know, give the ride kind of a bit of a storyline, you know, get the ride out there, put lots of adverts out and stuff, and kind of give it a UK's first or a world's first feature to it, whether that be something with the theming or an element on it as well that hasn't been seen before. Pleasurewood Hills in Suffolk has been doing some things that I've been a real fan of over the past few years, including bringing old rides back and refurbishing current ones, and I think that that is a really positive thing. Their next roller coaster, in my opinion, needs to be a very small wooden coaster. I will make it small, like Kentucky Flyer small, and that's why I'm showing you a POV of this, just so you can see the scale I'm talking here. I don't think it should be anything big. They could even make it a hybrid coaster if they wanted to then. You know, they've got kind of something to say, you know, first hybrid roller coaster in the UK, or first modern one anyway. I guess the ultimate at Lightwater Valley counts, but, you know, they could advertise that quite well with it being a hybrid coaster and something that we haven't really seen in the UK before. But yeah, something on this scale, you know, just quite a few little airtime hills, so you'll fly out of your seats. A decent sized drop, but nothing massive. I think that's the answer for them. A, they don't have the money to build a massive wooden coaster, and B, it wouldn't really fit that park anymore. You know, they're aiming towards the families, hence them being called Pleasurewood Hills Family Theme Park. I mean, they couldn't make it more obvious if they tried, could they? So I don't think building a thrilling roller coaster is the answer for them. I think a nice family scale wooden roller coaster is perfect, or a hybrid coaster, and I think it would attract people back to that park, which is just what they need. Now, you probably think that I'm about to say that Flamingo Land's going to get a wooden coaster next, because that's what most people say. However, I don't think they will. I think that first they're actually going to replace Hero, and I think a perfect roller coaster that could fit in that space easily would be an S&S 4D free spin. It could be themed in that area really well, and since Flamingo Land has such a good relationship with S&S, it is quite an obvious one for them to get. It would be the first coaster of its kind over in Europe, and they could promote it really well based on that. And yeah, I think it would be a great ride. It'd be a massive hit with the public, and it just looks really impressive when you look at it. Certainly a lot better than Hero. Lightwater Valley can build a nice sized new roller coaster on the field next to the Wild River Rapids, and I think that roller coaster should be a Chance Hyper GTX. Just like Lightning Run, again, another ride at Kentucky Kingdom. Their rides are just that good. I mean, you know, there's quite, I think it's 2 or 3 today that we've said that they should build in the UK, because Kentucky Kingdom has some really good roller coasters, and I think that something like this would be perfect for Lightwater Valley. The ride wouldn't cost too much for them to build, and I think it would be feasible for them to be able to get a roller coaster like this, and it would be a massive hit with people. I mean, just think of this, a roller coaster like that, packed full of airtime. It would be a great hit at the park, and it would be a well-needed and well-deserved new roller coaster there. You know, it wouldn't be too big that families couldn't go on it, but at the same time, it would definitely be classed as a thrill coaster. The airtime that you get on that would be insane, and I've heard nothing but good things from Lightning Run over at Kentucky Kingdom, so they could even clone that if they wanted to save a bit of money. Or if they did have the money lying around, they could come up with a unique layout. But either way, a roller coaster like this would be absolutely perfect, and it would go down very, very well. I mean, just think of it, the force on those turns, the airtime, you know, it kind of be like a steel version of the Ultimate, wouldn't it? But it certainly wouldn't matter, I think, that they'd be building something like this, and it wouldn't go upside down either, meaning it's, you know, it's open for more people to go on. It's not just people who love being thrown upside down, it's open to everyone to have a go on. And I think that that is definitely perfect, and you know, I think it's a real shame that this model from Chance Rides hasn't really taken off, because there's only been one of them built, and I think it's a real shame because the ride looks brilliant, the reviews of it have been excellent, so I think we need to see more of them, and I think a park like Lightwater Valley could be a great place to build the second one of it. Over at Thorpe Park then, I think that their next roller coaster needs to go on this big patch of land behind the Swarm, and I think that it could also go out over the water as well, adding to the ride for sure. I think that the ride they need to add is an RMC Raptor coaster. Now what you're watching here is the official POV released by Six Flags Great Adventure of their New Jersey Devil coaster. Now this ride is the same as what I'm predicting for Thorpe Park, except it's a slightly smaller model. So on this it's only 1 across the seats, whereas I'm saying get a T-Rex where it's 2 across and the track will be a bit wider. But other than that, it is exactly the same. I think something like that would be perfect. I do think they should do a unique layout though, as they could have it going over the water and stuff, and I think a bit of a longer ride than this would be good too. And yeah, it would certainly be a massive hit with the public. They could give it a really good storyline, just hopefully not one that's a horror storyline, because that's what they've gone for every single ride so far, and maybe mix it up and something different would be good. But yeah, nice over the water, inversions, airtime, lots of high speed bank turns, and it will give you some good force as well. They seem to go around the elements really quick on these rides, and just remember that if they built an RMC T-Rex coaster, it would be the first one of them to go, to come out end of, like there's never been any of them in the world before, so that'd be something, a world's first for them, that they could advertise, you know, the world's first of this ride. And as well, RMC have said that they're capable of going up to like 400, 500 feet, so they could make it into a hyper coaster, top the big one, or you never know, maybe even a giga coaster. So then, thank you everyone for watching today's video. I hope you did enjoy it, and I hope you thought that I suggested some good ideas for some brand new roller coasters at these different UK theme parks. If you have any different ideas or suggestions, please do leave them down in the comments below, and you can also comment any Q&A questions that you might have too, and I will answer them in my new Q&A video, which will be coming soon. Thanks again for 250 subscribers, really do appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video, which will be coming very soon. Goodbye.